How charming. You're screwing with me. Yeah, and I'll also screw you if you know what I mean. Hello, and welcome back to my Chapter 1 preview of Touchstarved. This is a dark fantasy dating sim in which you arrive in Eridia desperately wanting to break your curse, and along the way you meet 5 monstrous love interests. Last time we played through Leander and Ace's route, so if you haven't seen that, that is linked in the description box below. This time we are checking out Vere, Mhin, and Kuras, so I hope you guys like that. And if you haven't seen my playthrough of the updated demo, that is also linked in the description box as well. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, let's go with Kuras' route next. In the prologue, did you charm Kuras? Yes, at least I hope I did. I feel like he liked me from what I remember. I leave the wick early the next morning, marching through Lowtown's dingy streets. A damp breeze coats my cloak in tiny clinging droplets. As I walk, my hopes and anxieties mix in an uneasy churn. Kuras saved my life and offered to help me. Even my clothes were a gift from him. He's literally keeping me warm. And surely the doctor who wrenched me from death's jaw could find a cure for my curse. I pick up the pace, hoping to catch him alone before the clinic fills up with patients. And despite my early start, the line is just interminably long as ever. Nobody talks, though the occasional coughs and groans of pain speak for themselves. It would take hours to get through the queue. With a small tinge of guilt, I slip down the alley towards the clinic's back door. Sure enough, nobody else is here. I realize why when I spot a large rusty padlock on the rear entrance. Just as I reach to inspect it, the door bursts wide open. It's Leander, with a package in one hand and a sunny smile. It's not just one package, it's one on his chest and one down below. Leander, I miss you. His brows furrow when he sees me. Excuse me? Yandere. Feeling alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Leander raises an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced. I point at the back door, which Leander left ajar. The rusty padlock hangs uselessly off the handle. It's just for show, isn't it? He gives an easy laugh and nods. I tell Kuras he shouldn't just leave his doors open. Even offered to get some more ones, but he stuck a useless lock on the outside and called it good. I frown as I mull over Leander's breezy explanation. Theft was a constant problem at the shrine. Everything valuable stayed under lock and key. Medicine, food, and me. I suddenly remember Kuras last night, strolling down the shadowy riverbank while the others cowered inside. Unafraid of horrors in the dark, and apparently just as indifferent towards mundane threats to his clinic. Yeah, that's because he is straight up like probably the biggest threat in the city. Well, I won't keep you. Go on. Kuras won't be mad at me for intruding. Leander's answering laugh is more like a cough. I wouldn't worry about it, Yandere. I mean, he remembered your name. I've known Kuras since I was a kid. He doesn't bother with names unless you stick out. In my experience, sticking out is usually a bad thing. There's only one way to find out. He cheerfully waves me towards the back door and disappears down the alley. I sure hope he goes into my back door. This is preferable to an hour-long wait, so I step inside. Hello? Kuras? No answer, though I hear the gentle clinking of glassware. I turn towards the sound. Harsh orange light glints from the other side of a narrow door, left slightly open. My nose twitches, and there it is again. The sulfuric smell from when I first woke in the clinic. I approach, reach for the handle and gently push. Oh, that's so pretty! But also, oh no, what just happened? There's an ear-splitting crash, followed by a cloud of acrid smoke. I fling my cloak over my nose and mouth, trying not to inhale any of the fumes. Once the smoke clears, I find myself face to face with Kuras. A flask lies smashed at his feet, its contents burning into the worn floor tiles. With a thunderous expression, he steps around the smoldering mess and firmly grips my elbow, backing me towards the door. Oh no! I'm sorry. Yandere. I shiver in his grasp as he towers over me. The cold imperious glare paralyzes me like an insect trapped on the glass. I'm so sorry. I trail off. One look at his face tells me he won't accept any feeble excuses. The seconds tick by as we stare at each other, each more agonizing than the last. In the future, please do not wander around my clinic. As you can see, I use volatile reagents. I wait with bated breath for him to kick me out, but his face gradually softens. Wait for me in the clinic. Chastened, I step out of the room. Sorry. I hear Kuras moving around, presumably cleaning up the mess. I lean against the wall and fold my arms, determined not to get in any more trouble. Kuras rejoins me after a few minutes. His earlier irritation is gone, replaced with a touch of amusement. I can guess what happened. You arrived shortly after Leander left. Leander never bothers waiting at the front, and neither did you. It's a statement, not a question. There's no point in pretending otherwise. That's pretty much it. Kuras' eyes crinkle, then he makes no further comment on the matter of my sudden appearance. I scan the clinic. For now, we're completely alone. Kuras, I came to ask about... He holds up a hand, crosses to the front door and throws it open. An older child stumbles in, cradling an arm covered in scaly sores. They stare at me when Kuras directs them to sit.
Do not mind my assistant.
Wait, what?
If you wish to skip the queue, aid me. Medical instruments are in the drawer behind you. Stitches and threads are in the cabinet. You already know where I keep the bandages.
I'll do my best. No promises though. Not like I have much of a choice. It's a little late to back out now. I shuffle over to the medical supplies, careful to keep my own bandaged hands out of the child's sight. Kuras pauses, regarding me with a thoughtful expression that softens to genuine warmth.
Thank you, Yandere.
Well, you drive a hard bargain. He ducks his head, shoulders quaking with barely suppressed laughter.
Regardless, I am grateful for your assistance. I will not ask anything onerous of you, though you should harden your heart. Pain, deprivation, and frailty are constant companions to humanity.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Is that so?
I gaze down at my bandaged hands and back up at him. I've seen more than my share of terrible things. I don't mention that I'm the cause of most of them.
I believe you.
Precious few people have ever said that to me. I'm unable to hold his piercing gaze and equally unable to answer.
I promise you will have my undivided attention later.
Warmth rises in my cheeks. Is he teasing me or is he being serious? Before I can ask, Kuras returns to his young patient.
Sit up straight and extend your arm. Yandere, please bring me one of the vials beside the sink.
Curious, I hold one of the vials up to light. Silvery liquid quakes in my hand, as though the contents would come alive if I remove the cork. Kuras clears his throat, and I relinquish the vial. I watch, fascinated, as the contents begin to bubble and dance in his grasp. Oh, what's that? Kuras offers no answer or comfort. He turns their palm up to expose more weeping sores. It hurts. Comfort the child. I know, but be brave. It'll get better. Their only response is a watery sniff, but the child does not stop fidgeting. Look at his eyebrows. He's like, huh. Kuras grasps the vial stopper, looking from me to his young patient. What?
You have a gentle heart, Yandere.
I hold back a scoff, though it takes far longer than I would like to answer. I think that's a little dramatic.
We can agree to disagree.
A trickle of silver flows from the vial when Kuras opens it. The color brightens on contact with the child's skin, flowing over each open wound. Inflamed skin closes before my very eyes. The bleeding stops and a healthy flush returns to the child's arm. Kuras barely used a few drops. He seals the vial and steps back, satisfied. That's a miracle. He's right. I stopped believing in miracles after escaping the shrine, but this is nothing like the parlor tricks and false promises I once delivered.
Where'd you hear that?
My aunt. She told me to take her spot. Kuras looks from me to the child, choosing his words with deliberate care.
This disease can recur, so you must return next week. Do you understand?
He doesn't wait for an answer before ushering the child out the door. I can't tear my eyes from the miraculous glittering vial in Kuras's hand. Could it heal more than injury and disease? Could it mean an end to my curse? Our eyes meet. He answers my unspoken question with a shake of his head as a new patient stumbles in. The distinct odor of metal and quenching oil clings to her clothes. Excuse me? Sorry, doctor. I know you were sick of seeing my face. She cradles her arm, covered in a rough cloth sling. Crudely bandaged fingers peek out on one end.
Yandere, I need forceps and scissors.
He points to a tray of gleaming tools in every shape and size. The reflective glare hurts my eyes. I've never seen any of these utensils before, and my confusion only sharpens as the seconds of silence stretch on. Which tools are those? Never have I felt my sheltered upbringing more acutely. Kuras gives me a long measured look and I fight to hold his gaze.
I need the forceps on the far left and the large scissors in the middle.
Picking up each one carefully, I drop the tools into his waiting palm. He returns to the blacksmith and begins snipping her bandages loose.
Didn't know you had an apprentice, Doc.
He doesn't answer, so her attention naturally falls on me. I'm not his apprentice, I'm just helping out.
Ain't that what an apprentice does? Someone should tell mine. I'd be better off with a sack of river sludge.
She tries to wave a bandaged arm, and Kuras's scissors briefly catch on the cotton.
Do not move.
He takes the same tone with grown adults and children. Even, distant, and curt. Meanwhile, the blacksmith keeps recounting our hapless apprentice's latest mishap.
Can't tell a pair of tongues from her own arse. Would be out on the street if she weren't my own flesh and blood. All these burns because she couldn't remember to quench the...
When she forgets herself and moves a second time, Kuras lets go. His eyes flash, a surge of irritation quickly suppressed. I'm gonna be honest, Kuras looks really hot when he's angry.
Be still.
Why is that in yellow? Instantly, the blacksmith's hand goes slack in her lap. Her cloak slips and the torrent of chatter ceases, replaced by yawning silence. Kuras's words rattle my teeth. I taste smoke, feel bones jangle beneath my skin. Without comment, Kuras resumes his task, holds her limp arm up with one hand and reaches for another vial.
Please, clean these tools for the next patient.
I'm still transfixed by the blacksmith. She doesn't react to anything Kuras does.
not even when he applies medicine to her painful burns. What did you do? I told her to be still.
That isn't...
I take a cautious step back. I don't know what he did, but it was far, far more than mundane speech. I tasted power in every syllable. A subtle but inexorable power. Yandere. A chill runs up my spine. If he gave me an order, would I comply without thought or choice? Kuras opens his mouth to speak again, and I fight the paranoid urge to clamp my hands over my ears. Are you frightened?
Yes, that was simply unnatural. Nobody's charismatic enough to just stop another person mid-sentence.
You are not the first person to fear me despite my best intentions. If you wish to leave, I will not stop you.
I look out the window at the long miserable line awaiting patients and slowly shake my head. No, I'll stay.
Why?
Where else would I go for help? The Senobium. The sea spring. I stop myself from saying more, hoping he won't press me on this. I can't walk away. Not after seeing the miracle of Kurash's healing skill. Not without knowing if he could save me a second time.
As you wish.
He quickly finishes dressing the blacksmith's wounds, then passes a hand over her eyes like a candle flickering back to life. She blinks up at him.
Ah, gods and devils, that was quick.
She hops off the cot and bounds out the door, apparently no worse for wear. The patients file through in a hectic blur. Each one receives the same treatment of a few silvery drops. Each one leaves whole and healthy. Pretty sure the silvery drops is his blood. I struggle with a dense tangle of searcher thread, mine running amok with questions. How does that strange panacea work? Is it only effective on recent maladies? Would I need to drink it? Would there be any pain? Based on his other patients, that seems unlikely, but none of them were cursed.
Yandere.
I lift my head to find him watching me with concern.
It is well afternoon. Have you eaten today?
My rumbling stomach answers for me. Honestly, the imminent possibility of a cure drove all other needs from my mind.
Follow me.
He strides out of the clinic, briefly holding the door open for me. Though the morning chill has burned off, the low-hanging clouds persist. The queue outside is as long as ever, but nobody answers. Nobody enters. A few patients wave at Kuras, who only spares a passing glance. I'm wondering how to broach the subject of my curse when Kuras slows his pace.
What would you like to eat?
The casual question catches me by surprise. All morning he's been nothing but business. Surprise me.
You may regret that. I have little regard for food and even less knowledge of what others find appetizing.
I blink up at him. What a bizarre thing to say. I'm sure anything you choose will be fine. To my relief, we don't end up at the vendor of many-eyed fish. Kuras finds a rickety stall selling bread and fruit. Seemingly at random, he plucks a gleaming apple from an almost empty basket.
You gotta pay for... Oh,
doctor. The old merchant's eyes crinkle in a friendly grin.
On the house, husband still alive and kicking, thanks to you. If you insist.
Kuras hands over the food but purchases nothing for himself. I take a bite, musing over the many faces I've seen him wear today. A respected doctor, a secretive alchemist, miracle worker.
Is not to your liking.
Oh, the apple's fine. I was just thinking about you.
What about me?
It seems you've helped everyone in Lowtown.
My efforts are mere ripples upon an ocean of suffering.
Damn, learn to take a compliment, doctor. He stares as though I've grown another head, all traces of melancholy vanishing.
I confess, simple gratitude feels insignificant to me. The patients come and go with the years and I lose sense of how they see me.
I peer up at his ageless face. Just how many years has he been doing this?
Indulge my curiosity, Yandere. How do you see me?
He asks so gently, like a prayer whispered upon the wind. Caught off guard, I blurt out the first thing that enters my head. Kind. Lonely. He stares back with no reply. I press my fingers against my mouth, faintly horrified at saying something so forward. But the feeble apology dies in my throat when he gives me a fragile smile.
Perceptive and honest. I should request your assistance more often.
I'd like to help you too. After all, I'm much the same. The surprise that flickers in his eyes is but a momentary lasp, quickly fading.
We should return to the clinic before I reveal any more inadequacies.
I probably won't get a better chance to talk to him, especially once more patients arrive. Can I have a word when we're back, alone? I get the distinct feeling he knows exactly what I'm going to ask. The walk back to the clinic passes by in a silent daze. Any hunger I felt is gone, replaced by giddy, churning apprehension. He could save me. The suffering, the isolation, he could take it all away, just like he did for all those patients. I hop onto the cot the moment we're inside, waiting for him to produce that miraculous panacea.
Your hands, please.
What? I had my hands in my cloak, hugging myself tight. Why?
You treat your hands as though they're alien to you. They must be the reason you sought my help, and I cannot help without examining them.
What about your medicine? You're not going to use it on me? When I don't move, Kuras takes a step forward.
It would do nothing for you. Each word swims within my ears like thick syrup. Piecing together their meaning feels impossible. Nothing. How do you know? Experience. Kuras, that's not a real answer. Try as I might, I can't keep the desperation from my voice. Please, just try. If you insist. Remove some of your bandages. Slowly, each movement stiff and reluctant. I pull one hand out of the cloak and unwind some of the white cotton. I'm more cautious than I was with Leander, only exposing a sliver of my palm. Kuras picks up a vial and uncorks it. In one smooth motion, a single droplet quakes above my exposed skin. There's a brief burning sensation when the liquid hits my palm, followed by nothing. I'm not sure what I expected to feel. But there's no miracle. No healthy skin peeking through the mottled mess. Only my hand as resolutely cursed as it was before. Oh, that's sad. But, I mean, we knew it wasn't gonna do anything. I'm sorry, Yandere. My usual methods have no effect on your affliction. He's trying to let me down gently, but it only sharpens the bitter sting of disappointment because I know what comes next. You can't examine me. Touching my hands will curse you. After that, you won't be able to help anybody at all. Kurash's chuckle jolts me out of my self-pity. Forgive my candor, but I doubt you could harm me. Why is that so hard? Think back, if you would, to how we met. I carried you here from the waist and treated your wounds. You may draw any conclusions you wish. To me, it is obvious that your touch will not curse me. You, hearing him lay it out so starkly, forces me to play out the events in my mind's eye. If he's telling the truth, he must have touched me while fixing my arm. Can you touch me again? I cast a surreptitious glance at his hands. He wears no gloves, and I haven't seen any around the clinic. How? I have no answer. The last time you were here, I was preoccupied with saving your life. Your hands were a curious afterthought, but now they must become my focus. For the second time in as many days, I finish unraveling my bandages. I try to calm my pounding heart to no avail. He's a doctor. He's doing this to help me. I certainly don't crave his touch. I try not to imagine how his hands might feel. I do. Excuse me? Oh my god, he's so pretty. Look how gorgeous he is. Thank you. Kurash's long fingers curl around mine and hold fast. Warmth. Radiant, glorious warmth. It's the last coherent thought I have before searing light engulfs my vision. This is the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. It is Kuras basically saying, be not afraid, and I'm like, I'm not afraid, this is the sexiest thing that's ever happened to me. A spark ignites at the point where our hands meet, and Kurash's skin gives way to unquenchable flame. The agony and ecstasy blaze along my nerves, reaching a fever pitch when a sweet chorus whispers to me, I can't understand you, but hello fine shit. I am seen, I am known. My weakness and vices, my sins and pathetic struggles, all stripped bare before that unblinking gaze. The visage that stares back cannot be human, yet he seems as startled as I am when a scream tears free from my throat. Insane. Kuras lets go and the vision vanishes as suddenly as it came. I shiver and gasp, the after-image seared in my mind. I'm assuming he did not mean for us to see that. What are you? I can barely form words. My voice rasps as if smothered by smoke. When Kuras finally answers, each word trembles. Your salvation, or at least, I hope to be. That is dangerous. That is dangerous, but also I am so intrigued. I slowly open my watering eyes. Kuras steps back, putting several feet between himself and me. He looks as awestruck as I feel, an unusual expression on his face. What does that even mean? Kuras, what did I see? I suspect the answer, though admitting it to myself feels like madness. The shrine where I grew up held sham divinity and illusory miracles, but that brief radiant glimpse was the real thing. A divine monster of sublime beauty and terror. And sexiness. What you glimpsed would sear any human to ash and dust. But here you are, alive, unscathed, extraordinary. He stares at me as if I were the otherworldly creature and not him. No one in this world has seen my true face without. He doesn't have to elaborate. I felt that fire firsthand. Yandere, you are singular. He reaches towards me, transfixed by my exposed hand. I'm used to others recoiling in horror at such a sight, but the awe and longing in Kurash's eyes is new and dizzying. Touch him again. Yeah, do that. I stretch out my trembling fingers towards him. Yandere, touch me again. Please. The words sound mad, even to me. But I don't regret them and I don't pull away. He wants to desperately. Tension holds him still as a bowstring. That would be unwise. Instead, allow me to assist you. Kuras reaches for my discarded bandages rather than my upturned palm, his skillful fingers swiftly untangling the cottony mess. He lays the first strip of cloth against my wrist, just beneath the thumb. My shallow breaths flood the space between us. Then he smiles and my heart leaps into my throat. Be still for me. A second by agonizing second, loop by loop, he rewraps my wrist. The cotton feels so warm after passing through his hands, a gentle echo of the searing heat from before. He pauses at my palm, lips twitching in another knowing smile. Part your fingers. How about my legs? Should I part those as well? Because I will. I hesitate. How is he going to wrap my fingers without accidentally touching me? A light tug on the bandages brings my attention back to his eyes, still watching me in wonder. I gingerly extend my fingers. Even that slight motion sends a shiver down my arm. Has no one wrapped your hands for you? Not that I can remember. The shrine's priest must have bandaged me as a very young child, but clumsily wrapping my own hands is one of my earliest memories. Think about it. No sane person would risk being cursed just for this. What does that make me? That's not what I meant. No? All the while he continues to work. Bandages wind up my thumb and back down, symmetrical with my other hand. He effortlessly replicates patterns I've developed over the years. The deliberate hypnotic notion chases everything from my mind. A neat knot at my wrist completes his work, and I flex my hand, luxuriating in the traces of his warmth. Thank you. It's all I can manage, but it brings a gleaming smile to Kurash's face. I should thank you for the gift of your trust. I clasp my bandaged hands together, heart thudding against my ribs. If your usual methods don't work on my curse, are there other options? I'm almost afraid of the answer. Judging by what I saw when he touched me, healing can't be the full extent of his powers. But such power, focused entirely on me, it is beyond my imagination. Kurash paces twice along the length of the room before answering. Your curse is unique, as are you. I confess I am uncertain how to proceed. Well, I'm not. I slide off the cot to stand next to him, interrupting his restless pacing. Kurash, I have lived with this curse my whole life, despite my nerves and the lingering shock. I sound more sure of myself with each word. I almost died on my way to Eridia. If you think there's any hope, any possibility of curing me, I am willing to try. Kurash draws in a sharp breath and exhales slowly. I cannot promise success. I'm not asking for a promise, just a chance. The seconds tick by, sharpening my anxiety. He wouldn't refuse me now, would he? Very well, let us hope I am worthy of the task. He crosses to the window, regarding the endless line of patients with a sigh. Please return tomorrow. I hang my head, pressing my lips against the howl of frustration bubbling within me. I can't just ask him to drop everything for me, but the flicker of hope makes any delay feel torturous. I need time to research alternatives. There will be no other patients tomorrow. No interruptions or distractions. I do not claim to understand your suffering. I only ask for your faith. Faith is such a specific word to use as opposed to trust. A lifetime of experience screams at me to say no. Instead, I try to smile. Faith is hard when we don't know each other very well. True, yet under such conditions, mutual faith is the only path forward. When he smiles back, I breathe a little easier. I slip out the back and slowly meander down the alley. Every now and then I look over my shoulder at the clinic's nondescript door. What transpired within feels beyond surreal. A powerful monster hides in Lowtown and he agreed to help me, of all people. I hope it was more than pity or curiosity that moved him, but how would I know? Lost in my swirling thoughts, I don't notice the woman rounding the corner until it's too late. Oh no. Oof! Our shoulders collide as she quickly steadies herself against the grimy wall. I have a bad feeling about this. Watch where you're going! It's the same cleric who tailed us the night before. I attempt to turn and hide my face, but recognition dawns on her when she takes a closer look. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought you looked familiar. Though her smile is surprisingly warm. I maintain a wary distance and keep my mouth shut. Also, I love this track that is playing at the moment because it reminds me of Yuki Kajira, who is one of my favorite composers. You must be new around here. Eridia's a marvel, isn't it? I sigh, tired of being reminded of my obvious outsider status. It's fine. What do you want? Her smile falters, and she holds up her hands in a mollifying gesture. I see the locals' flavor's already rubbed off on you. Don't worry, I just want a quick word. No. She points down the alley towards the clinic. Mind yourself around Kuras. He's not as saintly as he seems. And the locals aren't discerning customers. She places a particular emphasis on the last few words and I frown back. Does she know about his true nature too? More importantly, does she know something I don't? I search her face, but a serious expression gives little away. How do you know him? How does anyone know Kuras? I asked him for help. But I wanted knowledge, not charity, so he turned me away. The doctor does love his secrets. Her words ring with uncomfortable truth. Kuras wasn't exactly forthcoming when I met him either. Though I don't respond, she seems to come to a resolution of her own. She leans in, her voice a soft whisper. Your Kuras can't help you. If you placed your confidence in the wrong person, come to the Senobium. Tell the guard that You're a friend of Sophia, and they'll let you in. Sophia. Is that your name? She only gives me a small smile before turning and walking away. Well, the wet wick is mercifully quiet when I return. I beat the evening crowd. I hasten up to my room, taking the rickety stairs 2 at a time. I slump into the dusty chair, closing my eyes. Unbidden, the vision from the clinic erupts from memory. Hey, so pretty. I've uttered more false prayers and empty litanies than I can count. But the brief glimpse when Kuras touched me, that was genuine divinity in all its radiance. I can't stop shivering, as though a fever rages within me. Eventually I wrench my eyes back open, and this morning, all I wanted was relief from my curse. Kuras gave me so much more than that. A fleeting touch, a tantalizing vision, a shadow of a doubt to cloud my newfound hopes. And all the while he told me so little of himself or his desires. I turn over beneath the threadbare blanket. Any answers, good or ill, must wait for tomorrow. That was so good. I'm so excited for some of the other routes. Alright, I'm gonna play through Mhin's route. In the prologue, did you challenge Mhin? I don't remember doing so, actually. Sunlight presses through the window. Morning has already come and gone while I was lying there, staring at the ceiling, turning the same memory over in my mind. Brick crushed into my spine. Their fist knotted in my shirt, strong enough to haul me half off the ground. You shouldn't be around me, Yandere. Find someone safer to ask for help. Those are the last words they gave me. I kept replaying the moment they said it, because the anger in their voice never quite covered what lay beneath it. We're both chasing the same truth, the Senobium. For a moment in that alley, it felt obvious that we could work together. 2 cursed problems circling the same solution. The idea lodged in my chest before I could stop it. Then they vanished, and days have passed since then. I keep expecting to spot that sharp silhouette in a crowd or hear their voice cut through the noise of Lowtown. It never happens. The absence only sharpens the conclusion waiting at the center of all this circling. If answers exist, they're sealed inside that tower, which means I need to get inside. The climb through Hightown is stiller than I thought it should be. Balconies arch like fossilized petals. Gilded walkways curve beneath glass and lanterns. Long since gone dark. Stone lions leer from garden walls dusted in soot. It's beautiful in the way ruins are. Grand and gutless. I have no idea what it used to be like, only the weight of what should fill it. Boots hammer the street ahead of me. A column of figures in white armor surge into view. Senobium guards, driving forward with clipped urgency. Instinct jerks my shoulders tight, yet they charge past without a glance and disappear around the bend. I wait until their footfalls fade, then follow. The road spills into a circular terrace where the guards have formed a ring around the dark shape on the ground. Blood streaks the tiles in violent arcs. At the center lies rot remains of a body, collapsed in a ruin of torn flesh and splintered bone. Flesh puckers where it has been torn. One arm is missing. A boot remains laced with care now, slick with congealed red. The smell hits next. Thick rot and copper flooding the air until each breath drags across the back of my throat. A young guard bends over and retches behind the helm. The others hold formation while voices slip through their ranks too low for me to catch. A handful of civilians cling to the edges of terraces, drawing close despite the horror before them. God spare us, it happened again. So it's reached Hightown now. Oh yeah, so now that it's reached Hightown, that's only when it matters, huh? What about Lowtown? The stone beneath the remains bears deep gouges carved into the tile. Long slashes driven into the cobbles with brutal force. Dark feathers drift through the blood. Their edges are shredded. Some end in wicked barbs, others lie snapped in half. Mhin? All of you, clear the area. The command slices through the murmuring crowd and sends people peeling back at once. 2 clerics stride through the ring of guards, boots grinding feathers and gore into the stone. Oh, they're so pretty! One of them I recognize from my second day in Eridia. It is Vere's handler. Ah, good grief, another one? Ah, we need that dog of yours, Basileia. Basileia leans towards the other cleric and answers too hushed for me to catch. I hover where I am, curiosity pulling one way while instinct begs me not to be noticed. Eavesdrop on the clerics. Enough people still loiter at the edge of the terrace that I can slip among them without drawing much notice. Him. But you know what he's gonna say, the trail always goes cold in the crypts. It's different this time. This is one of us, an inquisitor. What, so it matters more because it's one of you? That single word turns the scene grim. Shoulders lock, and even Basileia looks shaken. I don't know exactly what an inquisitor is, but the reaction tells me enough. Whoever died here wasn't disposable. Yeah, I ease back into the crowd and let the press of bodies swallow me again. Ideally, no one should be disposable. But I guess we can't expect much from the Senobium. Whatever carved that corpse open has turned the street into a spectacle, and the guards keep arriving in stiff white ranks. That chaos may be the only gift I'll get.
while the Senobium's attention fixes on the killing. It gives me an opening to get past the gates. I pull my hood further down and step away, quickly continuing my ascent towards the spire. I stop short of the bars, careful not to brush the iron. I love this track so much. It's so Madoka magical as well. Through the gaps, the world glows with cultivated elegance. Columns rise through manicured groves, while delicate blossoms fall across paths. Academics in white weave between the trees, deep in conversation, untouched by the filth below. This place isn't made for people like me. I can feel it in the air, scented and still, untouched by sweat. You there. Step away from the gate. A guard steps forward from the shadows of the archway. Damn, I guess the Senobium has more than a few to spare. If you have business, state it. If not, turn around. Sorry. Standing is a crime now. The guard tilts his hand. For a moment, I think he might laugh. Inside his mouth bends into a thin smile that carries no warmth. Not a crime, just foolish. People who pry too much tend to vanish. And after the morning we've had, I doubt you'd be the first. His stare stays fixed on me while I step away from the gate, and it takes a surprising amount of restraint to keep my temper from spilling out. I didn't claw my way across Eridia just to stop at a locked door. There has to be another path inside those walls. I follow the curve of the outer wall until I'm hidden from view. Here, the Senobium's careful orders begin to fray. Dense greenery presses against the marble, while ivy twists against smooth surfaces. I could try the climb, though the stone leaves leave little room for error. I'd also be seen before I ever reach the top. It won't work. Hi, Mhin. I turn sharply and come face to face with Mhin's familiar glare. Naturally, they appear the moment I stop looking. Strip away the cloak and they're almost unrecognizable, except for that stubborn scowl. Without the extra layers, they seem strangely exposed. Did you try it already? I catch the irritation falter on their face before it locks back into place. Doesn't matter. The wards are active. Anyone who gets close will burn before reaching the top. I could tell it was a waste of time before I got that far. I study them in silence. For days I keep circling the memory of that alley and the way our goals lined up for one fragile moment. Seeing them here confirms the suspicion that refused to leave me alone. Mhin wants inside the Senobium as badly as I do. Have a better idea then? Mhin exhales through their nose. Maybe not better, just more likely to work. Which is why I was hoping to find you. Me? They nod once. I have a lead you may find useful. Not here. It requires privacy. What kind of... They move before I can finish the sentence. Already turning away from the wall and heading down the path. I watch them go while annoyance and curiosity wrestle in my chest. The certainty that I will follow sits plainly in the way they walk. Follow them. Make them safe, please. I fold my arms and remain planted where I stand. Mhin slows after a few steps. The shoulders twitch before settling into a reluctant stillness. Well, you coming or not? Not gonna say please? Their eyes narrow with a sour, caustic glare. No. We linger there in brittle silence. Fine. They start walking again and I follow. Dragging this out won't help either of us. I need answers and Mhin clearly stands closer to them than anyone else I have ever met. Mhin leads me through the coiling streets of Eridia, up and down steep hills and alleys that reek in the afternoon heat. Every time I think we're close to stopping, they change direction with no explanation. Their route bends like water, aimless and winding. By the time Mhin finally stops in a cramped alley that looks no different from the dozens before it, my patience is worn thin enough to snap. Is this private enough for your liking? It'll have to do, I suppose. They refuse to meet my eyes. Their weight shifts again, then again. I wait for them to speak, yet the words never come. Well? What? Are you stalling? Color rises in Min's cheeks instantly. Their hands rise to their neck in an aborted attempt to draw up the hood they're not wearing. Don't be ridiculous. Listen, you'll get into the Senobium, right? To find answers for... They lift their hand and make a vague arc in my direction. Whatever it is you're dealing with. I start to answer, but Mhin rushes past the interruption, their speech picking up speed with each sentence. I took a job, high pay, stealing an item from a Senobium event. I can't pull it off alone. The job depends on forged identities. The client secured 2 invitations that must be used together. Together? Why not attend alone? Mhin turns her face away. Because the invitations belong to a pair of newlywed researchers. Ooh, we had to pretend to be married? Just wait until we actually get married. Arriving without the other would draw attention that ruins the disguise. I stare at them while the meaning sinks in. The explanation feels absurd enough to qualify as a joke, yet Mhin offers no sign of humor. Their fingers pick at the lacing on their sleeves, tightening and loosening until the knots shift crooked beneath their hands. You told me to stay away from you. Did you forget? Their mouth twitches like they're about to deny it, but they just sigh. No, I didn't forget. I meant when I said that night. But this is different. I need to do this job. They glance up at me through their lashes but don't hold the look for long. So we work together, we finish it, and then we never have to speak again. Why ask me of all people? I can't exactly pass for a Senobium researcher.
I don't know the first thing about fake science talk. What does it matter? You're new in Eridia. No one knows your face. That anonymity is worth more than you realize. Remain close to me. Allow me to handle the conversation. Say as little as possible. Their eyes flick towards me again, calculating. This puts you in the same room as Senobium clerics. It's far better than whatever reckless stunt you were planning. Why do you need this job? You don't sound thrilled about it. I need the payment. For what? That's none of your concern. I fold my arms and lean back against the wall. It becomes my concern the moment I'm the one helping you do this. The alley goes silent. Mhin says nothing, their fingers fidgeting. What? Do you owe someone money? Min's head snaps towards me. No, obviously not. The answer comes too fast. I'm not that careless. I'm just running low. I blink at them. The words take a moment to settle, and when they do, my annoyance gives way to disbelief. Mhin sees it immediately. Why are you looking at me like that? Are you broke? The lips draw into a hard line. No answer follows. Enough questions. Are you in or not? Their tone is clipped, but their expression betrays them. Their gaze lingers on mine a moment too long, steady and expectant. They want me to say yes. And truthfully, it's the best offer I've had since arriving in Eridia. Sounds kinda fun. I'm in. Mhin blinks. Their mouth parts. Words caught somewhere behind their teeth. This expression on their face is so pretty. What? I didn't think you'd agree. Not so quickly, at least. You weren't wrong about me needing answers. If this gets me closer to the Senobium, I'm not about to waste a chance. Unless there's a hidden catch you forgot to mention. No, nothing like that. We still need to complete the job. The client wants a particular artifact taken from the event discreetly. As long as you're my cover, I can handle that part. A few researchers will be there, maybe want to have information on what you're looking for. Works for me. They nod again, but their feet stay planted. The focus drops to the moss, threading through the mortar. They push their hand towards me without warning, fingers clutching a fold of worn leather. I don't care why you cover these hands. Just don't give us Senobium a reason to stare. Wear these. I reach for the offering. The gloves are soft, broken in by time and care. Fine seams run along each finger, threaded with burnished copper that catches stray light. They feel too fine to be passed off so easily. The weight of them rests in my palm. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to give me these? I wouldn't have offered if I wasn't. I bought them from a vendor in Hightown. The man swore they were wasted on me, their shoulders lift in a faint shrug. Maybe he was right. You carry them better. Thank you. They're beautiful. Their eyes dart away at once, though not before I catch a small twitch at the corner of their mouth. They're just gloves. Don't make such a big deal out of it. I slide the gloves on. They mold perfectly to my fingers. The leather warm and pliant, loose enough to hide the bandages underneath. Mhin carried these the whole time. They must have brought them earlier, long before I agreed to help. Maybe even before we spoke today. A quiet ache spreads through my chest. How'd you know my size? I didn't. I guessed. Their face says they're deflecting again. Their hand closed around mine after the soulless fell, gripped steady despite the carnage. Their icy eyes unflinching while the alley ran slick with blood. They're more attentive than I realized, and very sweet. You have good taste. Color rises along their cheeks, and they blush easy. They try to brush it off with a small huff. Don't sound so surprised. Their gaze skips aside, voice dropping a notch. Anyway, the gloves fit. That's what matters. Mhin clears their throat and straightens. Right, we need to move. Why? When's the party? Now. What? Started yesterday. It's in Hightown. Do we need costumes? Fancy outfits. The invitations offer traveling researchers. No one expects formal wear. You're fine as you are, and you're fine. I balk. This is too fast. Isn't the Senobium too dangerous for this to be so easy? Mhin notices my hesitation. The voice drops to a soft, genuine whisper. Trust me. The words are simple, though strain hides beneath the calm. They know what they're asking. Trust isn't cheap in the city, it isn't cheap anywhere. I pour over them, the tension in their jaw, the faint color warming their cheeks. Alright, lead the way. They smile and a small weight shifts inside my chest. I smile back, surprised by how easy it feels. I keep my head lowered while we climb through Hightown's polished streets, trying not to stand out like a stray weed planted in careful soil. Mhin walks beside me with a distant air, their focus towards the high facades and carved balconies. What are the names on the invitations? They blink, pulled abruptly from their thoughts. Just surnames. Idris. No first names. What if they ask? Who cares? Pick something dull. People lose interest fast when you're boring. I grimace. That's not going to cut it. I'll be Blanche, because the Senobium loves the color white. Get it? Mhin stops so abruptly I nearly walk straight into them. They turn with slow precision and stare at me. What? If we want this to work, we can't cut corners. We need to know exactly who we're pretending to be. It isn't theater, it's a job. Well, it's kind of both. Our job is to sell the Newlywed Act. You're not making any sense. They pivot and march ahead, every step stiff with irritation. I follow behind, half expecting the rest of the walk to pass in silence. A few paces later, their voice drifts back towards me low and dry. If you're Blanche, then I'm Killian. Oh, why the name Killian? Because I'll kill you if this doesn't work. Aww. I stare at them for a long moment. Then a laugh bursts out of me before I can swallow it. I didn't know you had a sense of humor. The corner of their mouth lifts. That's so cute. Aww. Then you should pay closer attention. We venture deeper into Hightown. Gleaming tiles stretch beneath our feet, patterned with inlaid gold and dark marine glass. Mhin slows as the building comes into view. It towers above the street with arrogance, washed in an amber lantern glow that spills down its broad steps. The air hums with laughter, tangled with the clink of glass. A breeze brings a scent of perfume and powdered sugar. Ready? Let's do it. They slip a hand inside their coat and produce two folded invitations, the paper creased with careful handling. As we near the entrance, the doorman gives a perfunctory glance and allows us inside without a word. Well, that was easy. Holy crap! This background is so pretty. The air shifts the moment we cross the threshold. It's cooler in here, buzzing with voices that never learn to whisper. Sunlight floods the glass dome overhead. Also love this music track too, illuminating the statue of a woman with twin sickles, arms spread in silent judgment over the milling crowd. My steps falter under the weight of it all. Beside me, Mhin poses as well, a subtle aura across their features. Alright, now try to look like you enjoy my company. Think you can manage that? Only if you stop talking. Hello there, you're a face I haven't seen before. The voice slices clean through the surrounding chatter. A woman approaches draped in grey silk edged with a pearl feather trim. Her champagne glass tilts towards us in an idle gesture. Her attention moves across us with careful interest. I don't believe we met. Which division are you with? Us. We're researchers. The aegis ones. Traveling researchers. Min's posture goes rigid beside me, so much for confidence. I step forward before their nerves betray us completely. Don't mind my partner. I'm Blanche. My darling Killian handles numbers better than conversations. Too much time in the field dulls a person's social instincts. Understandable. I assume you're the one who presents the findings. Only when politics demand it, we prefer results to speeches. The woman's expression softens, suspicion dissolving into polite interest. She eases back into the crowd. The tension leaves Mhin in slow increments. They guide us towards the edge of the hall where the crush of voices thins and the music dulls. That was horrible. They glance my way, then quickly focus on the floor, as if the tiles demand urgent inspection. You handled that better than I did. Thanks. Their voice lacks its usual edge, a rare sincerity taking its place. You do the same for me, assuming you ever learned how to act. A short snort escapes them and their mouth bends into a quick, unguarded smile. I wouldn't have thought to call you darling, that's for sure. Maybe I should learn, in case we ever need to play these roles again, or in case we ever need to do it for real. The silence falls between us, gentle and comforting amidst the bustle of the party. Thinking you can keep the act going for the rest of the night? I think so. Their fingers twitch behind their back, no doubt messing with their sleeves again. I start to recognize the habit. It appears whenever nerves creep in. Take the hand. I reach back and fold my fingers through theirs, and their breath hitches. You're going to shred that sleeve. Let go and breathe. I didn't realize I was doing that. That's why I'm here. A waiter passes with a silver tray. Each pastry a jeweled confection glazed in glassy sugar and studded with crushed fruit and candied spices. Mhin plucks one from the tray. Instead of eating it, they turn towards me. Open. Their arm curves around my waist, guiding me gently against their side. Oh, my heart stumbles. I notice the warmth of their body first, then the whisper of silk shifting against silk. Lantern light gathers across their shoulders in a radiant halo. Wait, their real name forms on my lips before I can catch it. Heat climbs up my neck. You want me to eat from your hand? A faint, almost mischievous smile spreads across their face at my reaction. I'm learning how to act, remember? For the job. Let them feed you. I lean forward and part my lips. Mhin hesitates. The pause lasts barely a breath before they gather their resolve and lift the pastry towards me with careful fingers. The shell breaks beneath my teeth. Butter spreads warmly across my tongue while a delicate mousse dissolves into sweetness bright with fruit I can't place. I never tasted food this rich. Mhin watches from beneath pale lashes. They try to keep their composure, though a faint flush gathers across their cheeks. I didn't think you'd actually eat it. What'd you expect me to do? I don't know. Maybe hesitate. Their voice trails off and our eyes meet. Only then do I notice how little space separates us. Their arm still rests around my waist. Their warmth steady against my side. The closeness should feel strange. Instead it feels comfortable, almost grounding. Their arm eases from my waist but not all the way. Their hand remains low on my back. As much fun as this is, we should really find that artifact. Do you know what it looks like? Oh, right. Their voice dips. Faintly wistful, like the thought of returning to that task leaves a bitter taste. I do. Should be at the back of the exhibit hall. I nod, not ready to let the closeness vanish so soon. I reach for their hand and weave our fingers together, guiding them towards the arched hall beyond the crowd. Ooh, pretty! The exhibit stretched through a maze of polished rooms, each one curated for opulence more than insight. In drinks in the room. Genuine awe playing across their features. You said it was near the back, right? We could take the long way, play our part, lurk near a few exhibits?
Yes.
The reply comes too fast, too eager.
I mean, sure, that makes sense. Good plan. You pick.
I watch the tips of their ears flush. Fondness swells inside me as I look around the room. Pick the camera obscura. I look towards the burnished brass frame of the camera obscura. It looms tall and silent, its lens glinting like a dormant eye. The placard reads, Image Chamber Prototype, Eridian Academy. I didn't expect to see one here. Mhin steps in beside me, focused on the lens.
What is it?
I blink at them. You're serious?
What? Never seen this before.
It's a camera obscura. Records what it sees, projects it onto parchment. They've been around for decades, even villages have one or two. Mhin tilts her head, inspecting the device as if it were a relic dredged from the ocean floor.
Right, of course, I knew that. I guess I just forgot. They're so impressive in person.
A flimsy excuse. I study them, searching their face for a lie, a slip, a reason, and all I find is curiosity. I take their hand in mine, gently squeezing their fingers. It's like they say, we never stop learning. They roll their eyes, but their lips twitch with a smile.
Look, there's the artifact we need.
Mhin leads me towards an alcove, tucked behind a curtain half hidden from the wandering crowd. The artifact resembles a miniature tree forged in burnished metal. Crystals bloom from each limb, radiant and unnaturally precise. Few seem to notice it, and even fewer care to look. My mouth goes dry as I take in the size of the display. Are we supposed to take the whole thing?
No, just a crystal.
Min's hand grows tense in mine. They quickly scan the room.
Good, no witnesses. I'll go for the one near the root so it's less visible. Watch my back.
Their fingers trail down my wrist before pulling away. I have a bad feeling about this. I feel the absence as they step towards the display. They crouch low, beside the display. Careful hands working through the lattice of metal branches. What looked rigid begins to loosen under Min's touch. One crystal struggles to come free of its socket. I drift towards the doorway and plant myself there, pretending to admire a nearby plaque while guests wander past behind me. When I steal another glance over my shoulder, Min's still crouched over the sculpture and the crystal hasn't moved much at all. And now for a bonus attraction, if you'll follow me this way to the most recent addition to our gallery, the docent's voice carries easily through the heartbeat. A swirl of footsteps follows, growing louder with each passing heartbeat, carries easily through the gallery. The docent's voice carries easily through the gallery. A swirl of footsteps follows, growing louder with each passing heartbeat. Shit. A cold knot twists in my stomach. Warning Mhin won't solve the problem. If anyone notices that sculpture shifting, our cover collapses in seconds. We need privacy, just a minute, maybe two. Take drastic measures. I cross the room quickly and touch Min's shoulder. They jolt upright at once. Their hands slip free of the sculpture when I pull them gently towards me. I lean closer, my words stay between us. Kiss me. Min's eyes widen further, color already rising across their cheeks. Oh. What? I don't have a clever plan waiting in reserve. Panic burns through my chest and one reckless thought takes control. I step between them and the doorway. Now! The docent rounds the corner. Mhin suddenly kisses me. Ooh, hehe. I expect a hesitation. I expect them to freeze and whisper questions while the gallery watches fall apart. Instead, they trust me. And that trust hits harder than the panic ever did. My heart skips while their lips press against mine, softer than they have any right to be. Their shoulders stay tense beneath my hands, braced as if they expect me to pull away at any moment. Then I drape my arms around their neck and draw them closer. Their hands slide to the nape of my neck, trembling fingers settle there and tilt my head, urging the kiss deeper. I thought I could fake this and walk away untouched. The idea feels ridiculous now. Mhin brought gloves for me without asking for thanks. They trusted me with this plan. They looked at me tonight with real hope in their pale eyes. Now they're kissing me, like trusting me was the easiest choice in the world. The gallery falls silent as the last footsteps fade down the corridor. The distraction marked. We part, though only by a breath. Min's face burns bright. Their gaze drops to my mouth, jerks away, and wanders back again with helpless fascination.
I got it. The crystal, I mean, and the guest left, so we should probably...
The sentence collapses halfway through. Their hand slips from my collar. I remain frozen in place, my lips still feel warm.
Now that is a convincing performance.
A voice calls from the doorway. Stunned, I turn around. Uh-oh. A man stands in full Senobium white. Not a guard, his robes are immaculate with a silver trim that catches the light like frost. Mhin opens their mouth to speak, but the man lifts one hand in a placating gesture.
I'm not here to pull anyone's ear. I simply remember faces and yours aren't in the registry.
Uh-oh.
I won't make a scene. If I wanted to report you, I would have done so already.
He steps inside, his attention shifting to the sculpture. A small cloth appears from his sleeve and he brushes the dust from the pedestal with care.
I oversaw this commission decades ago. They never did give it the prominence it deserves. I know, you're curious and dedicated. That already puts you in better company than most with clearance.
He appraises Mhin than me. There's no accusation, just interest. You're not going to turn us in?
For what? Curiosity? False names? I've seen worse from actual initiates.
The fact that you got this far says more about our gatekeeping than your motives. Why help us? Because the Senobium has grown too fond of locks. It forgets what knowledge is for. Maybe it needs a few ghosts in the walls. A hush falls over the chamber. My stomach twists as it dawns on me that I finally found it. A Senobium scholar eager to talk. This might be the only chance to get answers. I crossed the waste of this moment. I nearly died for it. Oh no, this is not going to go well. I step forward, nerves knotting in my throat. Please, would you help us again? He glances at me with one brow raised as I force out the words, raw and aching with desperation. There is something inside me. Twisted and wrong, and it won't let go. The Senobium won't see me, but would you? His expression shifts. He says nothing, only looks from me to Mhin. Then he reaches into his coat and pulls out a small folded square of parchment. The script he writes is fluid, precise, almost too elegant for mortal hands. This is my private office, off the record. I'll be there tomorrow. This feels like a trap. He presses the paper into my palm and folds my gloved fingers over it. Keep it safe. Will you? His smile is solemn and sympathetic. I kept a secret. I trust you to keep mine. I don't trust this. My eyes sting and I blink hard, but the heat stays lodged in my throat. Thank you. The words feel too small and fragile compared to the weight of the paper now cradled in my palm. Mhin steps forward, their posture taut with restraint. But there's a strange reverence in their expression. Really, thank you. The man nods once, his mouth curving in the faintest smile, then he turns back to the sculpture as though we were never there. I grasp Min's hand and tug gently. Together we slip out of the room and into the shadowed gallery beyond. We keep our heads low. A few guests glance our way but lose interest quickly. Neither of us breathe easy until we've crossed the last of the bridges into Lowtown. Only then, under the wide expanse of the night sky, does my voice stumble free. We did it. We really did. Something's gonna go wrong. They slow at last and the tension bleeds from their shoulders. I match their pace as the city dims behind us. A sharp, clean breeze cuts across the riverbank, a relief after the ever-present heat and overwhelming noise of the gallery. I draw in a lungful and exhale through a grin. I can't believe it. You got your artifact and I got a lead. Not just a lead, an invitation that's significant. It went better than I imagined. Still, the job's not over until we make the handoff. They fall quiet, their brow furrowed. I don't think I could have pulled this off alone, so thank you. You actually kissed me. Mhin startles. I just didn't expect you to trust me like that. They lower their eyes, watching the shadows beneath the bridge before speaking. I didn't expect it either, honestly. But it worked, and that's what matters. Focus, like I said. Job's not over until we make the handoff. Right. Let's finish this. Mhin takes a sharp turn down a dingy lane. This is the spot. It's empty, but not for long. A figure slinks out from the street, silhouetted by oily lamp glow. What if it was the guy in the Senobium? Oh, it's not. There you are, almost thought you'd gotten caught. He wears a plain cloak, but I can see the glimmer of silk and brocade. He might well be from Hightown too. You haven't, and nobody saw you. Yes, I have the crystal, no, nobody noticed. Mhin draws a crystal from under their cloak and takes a step closer to him. The client lunges and a sharp gasp cracks through the silence like a whip. What the hell? A flash of silver, then Mhin staggers back, their eyes wide. They glance down, crimson strands rapidly blooming around the knife buried in their gut. The client's hand is still on the hilt. He twists and pulls hard to one side. The smell of fresh, steaming blood hits me immediately. Thank you for a job well done. Mhin doesn't even have a chance to speak. They crumple like a doll, blood and intestines spilling out onto the street. I'm still staring at their body, reeling when he turns on me. Can't have anyone crying to Mummy Abbess. Don't take this personally. Check on Mhin or fight the client. I mean, if we check on Mhin, we're probably gonna die, but we'll do that anyway. I move on instinct, barely registering the man's words. I'm already reaching for Mhin. He steps between us, the bloody knife still gleaming in his hand. Move! I don't care if I die doing it, I have to reach them. He circles me, knife held low and confidently like he's done this before. Don't worry, I'll make it quick. He may not be a monster, but ordinary humans are lethal enough as it is, especially when they're armed with something sharp. Behind the client, movement catches my eye. Mhin rolls over. Uh-oh, I must be hallucinating. I saw them get stabbed. I saw them fall with the finality of someone who wasn't getting back up, and yet they push themselves up on one elbow. Mhin makes a noise like they're crushing glass in their throat. A horrible wet gurgling shriek tearing free. What the? Oh, is it monster time? Oh, that's kinda hot. Min's limbs contort. Their back arches unnaturally, bones shifting beneath skin. Dark feathers puncture their joints and fan outwards. Skin tears, muscle splits, and their scream shakes the street. I love the hair turning into feathers, that is sick. The face breaks open and the hooked beak bursts free. The client doesn't scream. He barely blinks before talons strike. His chest gapes open from chin to hip. Oh no. Oh no, but also oh yes. Like, hey, do you come here often? Oh my god, I love the tail being like
just bones? I remain frozen with my back pressed to the wall, watching what Mhin has become. Half of me feels relieved, the other half filled with dread. Also, one wing is like damaged. You saved me. With an ear-splitting scream, Mhin brings both talon and fist down on the client's crumpled body. They twist violently and the client's arm rips free of their shoulder with a sound like wet tearing cloth. Mhin flings it against the wall. I recoil. I now know with sick certainty what tore apart the Inquisitor in the square this morning. Oh well. The next swipe of talons nearly takes my head off. I scramble out of the way as they lash out wildly, gouging stone pavement and brick walls. Oh no. But also, kind of makes them a bit hotter. As they thrash, tar-black ichor oozes from their body, coats their feathers and pours from their split jaw. Mhin, please, stop! There's no recognition in those eyes, no hint of familiarity. This isn't a monster or a soulless, it's something else entirely. The creature stumbles, grabs its skull as it tries to squeeze thought back into bone, its cries twist into choked sobs. I can't run, not without drawing its attention. I only have one chance, one desperate gamble that might get me out of this alive. Touch Mhin. I am so screwed. I yank off the gloves Mhin gave me earlier, clumsily ripping my bandages off along with them. Darting under the creature's flailing wings, I press my palm to its body. For a moment I feel numb, as though my body is attempting to process what I'm feeling, before I'm struck with a sensation like nothing I've ever felt before. Pure agony. I can't think. I can't breathe. Every nerve in my body lights up with a million stabs of white-hot pain until it's driven everything out of my head. I might be screaming. It feels like I should be bleeding from every pore. I think I might be convulsing, losing control of my body as it attempts to escape the pain. I've never had this kind of reaction. I don't know anything but pain. Endless pain until at last blessed darkness embraces me. Through the haze, I think I see Min's face human once more. Then nothing. Well, that was insane. Oh my god. We've got one more route to do, which is Vere's, so let's do that now. And then I will give all of my thoughts. In the prologue, did you amuse Vere? Yes. I do remember being Vere's silly little clown. The commotion in the wet wick carries deep into the night. Free drinks and the dull roar of a dozen conversations help take my mind off of Vere. I've long lost track of the late hour by the time I trudge upstairs to my room. After undressing, I flop onto the creaky old bed, but my brush with sleep is all too brief. A loud crash startles me awake. I sit up, blinking into wan light. The moon is little more than eerie glow, limiting the drawn curtains. A muffled cry comes from the wall behind my headboard, followed by a thump that shakes the wall and rattles the bed frame. Oh great, someone's bang-a-langing real loud. I should have known this would accompany the strong drinks and cheap beds. What more should I expect from a place called the Wet Wick? Bang on the wall. I bang my fist against the wall. There's a soft moan, a muffled thud, then nothing but merciful silence. Fatigue lulls me into a dreamless sleep. I don't think that was people bang-a-langing, maybe that was someone getting murdered. But this time, an unsettling sensation wakes me. Oh no. My eyes fly open. The room, once suffused with weak moonlight, is now cloaked in impenetrable darkness. I sit up at the first whisper of movement. Nails click on wood as the very dark itself stirs. Inky tendrils spread across the walls, smothering the windows. A shadow falls over me, as indistinct as whirls of curling smoke. The foot of the bed dips, wood groaning under the strain of immense weight. Instinct urges me to run, but fear stills me as the beast lowers its massive head. Vere, this is very hot and all, but very sudden. A pair of eyes, molten pools of light, bore into me. The maw opens with a rumbling growl and a flash of jagged teeth that lunges. I squeeze my eyes shut, anticipating the agony of fangs tearing into my throat. But the bite never comes. When I open my eyes, cold and faint sunlight pours into the room, dispelling shadows. My heart gallops. I touch my face, expecting my fingers to come back wet with blood, but the bandages are clean. There's no monster, no baneful eyes, no teeth closing around my neck. I'm alone and trembling in bed. Oh, what a shame, alone in bed. Where's Leander? I throw off the sheets and cross the room to pour myself a cup of water from the pitcher on the dresser. As I lift the cup, a shiver of unease slithers down my spine. Reflected in the water is a faint symbol drawn on the crook of my neck. Too geometric and symmetrical to be natural. Oh no, a monster's mark used to single out prey. I've never seen one on a human. Livestock bearing these were offered to the shrine for sacrifice. No amount of prayers or rites can save something marked for death. Vere, what the hell? Is this your idea of flirting? The room swims. The cup slips from my hand and clatters to the floor. My eyes strain to focus as I take gulping breaths, trying to stifle my mounting fear. The monster seems to have vanished with dawn's first light, yet I'm all but certain it was the same beast that stalked me in the streets yesterday. How did I catch the attention of something so horrible? Vere? Could it still be there, hiding in the shadows?
or does it plan on playing with its food? I press my trembling palm to the mark and the pain flares like searing hot poker pressed against my skin. This isn't something I can scrub off with soap and water. Whatever marked me will return to finish the job. Eridia was supposed to be a sanctuary, but it's been 2 days and I'm already marked with death. My mind reels with too many terrible possibilities. There's nowhere to run. I can't risk fleeing into the wastelands again. I can't stay here suffocating with fear and waiting to be caught. I have to find help before it's too late. I throw on my clothes and pull my hood up, careful to cover the monster's mark. Then, after bounding down the stairs 2 steps at a time, I race out of the front door. Do I bash into Leander's boobers? I hope so. The door swings open and bounces off a solid object with a resounding thwack. A flurry of papers take flight. The cleric from yesterday scrambles to catch as many fluttering pamphlets as she can. I reach for a few fanning across the dew-laden stairs. They're identical posters, each depicting rows of human and monsters' faces, rendered in smudged ink. Though the paper is soggy, I can make out missing and something about a reward. Sorry about that. Thank you, citizen. The cleric looks from my papers to me and blanches. No, it's you, Vere's dear friend. I nearly mistook you for a heretic. Chuckles, but when I smile in return, her eyes widen. You, we got something there, on your neck. Shit, I didn't notice my hood slipping back when I dove for the papers. Admit the truth. There's no use hiding what she's already seen. A monster snuck into my room last night. I thought it'd kill me, but it left this mark and vanished. Wait. You're telling me a monster attacked you here at the Wet Wig of all places and then just up and left? When I nod, she glances at the pile of papers in her hands and sighs. Alright, citizen, first things first, we should get you somewhere secure. You'll be safer in Senobium custody, and I'll need to take your testimony. I instinctively take a step back. Am I being arrested? Are you arresting me? No, but I'd rather not question you here. You'll be protected under our supervision. Does that mean we're going to the Senobium? Of course not. No offense, but they wouldn't open the gate to something so trifling as this. Let's get moving, shall we? I haven't got all morning. The cleric motions for me to follow her. As friendly as she seems, I can't help but feeling uneasy. But what other options do I have? And by the time we reach Lowtown, the sun had finally emerged from the persistent grey haze blanketing the city. My stomach rumbles at the sense of roasted onions and sizzling garlic as we pass through the market. But there's no time for breakfast. Not with the cleric striding purposely through the crowd. It doesn't occur to me to ask where we're going, until she beckons me into a dim alley filled with detritus. Does the Senobium normally operate out of dark alleys? Ordinarily, I take your testimony, then escort you to Hightown office for a full evaluation. But there's a mandatory function at the tower this afternoon, so there won't be anyone around to assist you. I'm not sticking around for that monster to show up again. Don't worry, it's unlikely to return after the sun has set. Fewer witnesses that way. Her forced laugh doesn't inspire much hope. Marks like yours aren't so hard to dispel with the right reagents. Honestly, the paperwork's the most tedious part. A weight lifts on my chest. I manage to crack a smile. I can't even imagine Vere doing office work. I'm afraid he's not much of the paperwork, or the people work, but we're a team, I suppose. I'm surprised you trust him at all. It slips out unintended. The cleric pauses to look over her shoulder at me. You don't think Vere marked you? Could he have? Couldn't he have done this? He's a monster and a powerful one at that, but he's not exactly subtle. If he wanted to hunt you, you'd know it. And that's not the only wrinkle. Vere's the only monster in Eridia with a magically enforced curfew. He's always secured after midnight, I make sure of that. He can be shifty, but he doesn't go around town marking people. He's more of the pounds first, ask the quivering remains questions later sort. It's a cold comfort, but I suppose she knows him better than I do. I am Acolyte Basileia, by the way. I didn't catch your name. Yinny, rest assured, Yinny, we'll get this unpleasant situation all sorted out. Just don't tell us all I brought you here, okay? Why not? I nod, even though I can't imagine why anyone might be interested in an alley littered with dried chicken bones and rotten fruit peels. Basileia places her palm on an inconspicuous brick, and something inside the wall clicks. A passage yawns open before us. My stomach clenches as I gaze at the shadowed stairs. It's not too late. I can still back out, but it'll only be a matter of time before the monster finds me. I'm better off taking my chances with Basileia. I hope this isn't a trap. The click of Basileia's heels follow us down the twisting stairwell, lit by her conjured lantern. The farther we go, the more questions I have. Where are we going? Where exactly are you taking me? An outpost. That sounds elegant as a Hightown office, but it's got a sort of rustic charm. Is that a floating lantern on a chain? That is so cool. Are most Senobium outposts hidden away like this? No, this one is unique. Originally, it was built to contain some of the Senobium's most dangerous subjects.
We don't normally allow citizens down here, but I hate for you to get eaten on account of due process. And seeing as you're friends with my associate, I expect he'll be very eager to assist you. I feel suspicious. Let's just hope he's decent. Oh, does Vere live down here? Oh, this is pretty. She pushes open the door and we step into a chilly, cramped chamber. Oh, he's so pretty. I love him. In the flicker of candlelight, I can make out a plain, unadorned cell, completely at odds with its sole occupant. Oh, I love him. Vere sits perched on the edge of a window cut into the stone wall. Illuminated by a slant of warm sunlight, he looks lost in thought. You're late. There better be a good reason. Vere looks up, and his words die as our eyes meet. Surprise flashes across his face, quickly masked by a smirk. Oh, it's you. If I'd known I'd be receiving visitors, I'd have tidied up. With a generous host. Aren't you a generous host? I would offer you tea, but as you can see, my hands are tied. His smile doesn't reach his eyes, but it's not hard to guess why. Despite the personal touches, an antique desk buried in book stacks, papers and stubby metal candles, there's no denying what this is. A prison. When Vere rises, a long chain uncoils behind him. One end is padlocked to the floor, the other affixed to his collar. Even without the bars, he's trapped. I ran into your friend on the way here, and well, it's been a busy morning. After stacking our pamphlets on the cluttered shelf, Basileia produces a heavy rusted key from the dozens looped around her chain. She unlocks the cell door and I flinch at the shriek of long rusted hinges opening. Impending dread worms its way beneath my skin. This is why Vere warned me to stay away from the Senobium. It's all too easy to imagine being trapped alone in this cold dark cell, condemned to the same fate as him, simply for being different. Cursed. Is this what you meant by securing him? Leaving him locked up in here? Basileia frowns at the note of revulsion in my tone. It's only overnight, keeps the civilian safe from Vere and vice versa. Besides, he's free to stretch his legs and roam as he likes as long as his performance meets our expectations. I glance at Vere, but his eyes remain fixed on the ceiling while Basileia takes a hold of his collar. You're usually such a stickler for rules, and yet you brought Yinny here. Why? He speaks pleasantly, but there's an edge to his voice. The smoky suggestion of a growl. She needs help. Look at her neck. The padlock springs open and the chain crashes to the floor in a loose spiral. Vere strides out of the cell. He gives me a cursory glance before grinning. What's this you're hiding? A love bite? You'd like that. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Depends on who's doing the biting. Basileia clears her throat and I quickly move on. A monster snuck into my room this morning. It marked me and disappeared. You really can't stay out of trouble, can you? If you're gonna lecture me about danger again, save your breath. Can you help me or not? Let's see it. When I lower my hood, Vere moves closer to me. My face burns at the memory of his breath tickling my neck yesterday. At this time, he only gives a nonchalant hum. Well, have you ever seen a mark like that? Can't say I have. I wait for him to make a snide remark or gloat about how easily he can fix it, but he only shakes his head. I fail to see why you brought her here, but I wish you both the best nonetheless. He passes me with a lazy, over-the-shoulder wave until Basileia cuts him off. You're not going anywhere, Vere. I'm requisitioning you for duty. I need you to take Yinny and track down that monster. What? I thought that was safest here. You never said anything about hunting a monster. I had to report to the tower, and all the field officers are closed today. Vere's the best monster hunter we got. He's more than capable of assisting you. Vere opens his mouth, but Basileia speaks over him. I know it's a stretch, but what if this case is related to, you know? She mouths a few words. The most I can make out is river case. Whatever she said doesn't have the effect she intended. Vere's tail gives an impatient shake. I have plans. Important ones. All you have is a hickey and a half-baked hunch. Would you like to give me more? Isn't Yinny your bosom buddy? I thought you'd be eager to help. He looks at me and the corner of his lips twitches up. Hardly. I barely know her. He says it lightly, as though he never lured me into an alley to threaten me. What about last night? I'd say we're well acquainted after what happened last night. Basilaia's mouth drops open, Vere only shrugs. Care to jog my memory? Excuse you, don't smirk at me like that. You were all over me. Yes, he was. Can you do it again? Was I? You nearly ate me. And not in a sexy way either. Vere! Basileia glares at Vere until he gives a weak shrug. Don't be so literal, Basileia. She means purely in the carnal sense. My face burns, but Basileia looks oddly relieved by his excuse. I may have overindulged and gotten a little sloppy. I'll exercise more restraint in the future. There's that edge again, in the lines of his smile. He couldn't be more insincere if he tried. I've got to get going. Track down that monster, kill it if you can. Failing that, bring Yinny back here by nightfall. Once I return from Hightown, I can remove that mark myself. No funny business, don't make me use the word. Vere's smile falters. Basileia turns to me and, seemingly sensing my confusion, flashes me a stiff smile. Worry not, for all his boasting, he's harmless. He can't even hurt humans. Just, don't let him drink, or get into any fights or show you his hole. Show me his what? Wait, but what if I want to see? What? But Basileia's already out the door. I'm left with Vere, who tries and fails to stifle a yawn. What hole? I need tea. Let's go. Before I can protest, he starts up the stairs. My throat feels tight with simmering annoyance, but I take a steadying breath. We'll find the monster, and Basileia will remove my mark. Then, I'll put all this behind me and focus on finding a cure. We walk in silence through Lowtown and along the edge of the riverbank, to a small alcove where a few stalls and tables have been arranged. After vanishing without warning, Vere returns with a tray loaded with dishes, a chipped teapot, and a pair of steaming bowls that he sets between us. As much as I want to protest, my mouth waters and my stomach rumbles at the smell of fresh ginger. Noodles and diced vegetables float in a milky broth laden with wrinkled strips of fried bean curd. The first sip fills me with a sweet warmth, soothing my frayed nerves. It's not until I finish wolfing down my soup that I remember my company and I feel a wave of embarrassment. But when I look up, I find Vere gazing over the riverbank with his chin in one hand, his own soup long picked clean of oxtail and pushed to the side. What's on your mind? What's so interesting? I was hoping to see something scandalous, like a body washing up on the shore, but no such luck today. He glances my way and I set my spoon down. Thank you for the meal. How much do I owe you? My treat. After all, I almost ate you last night, didn't I? You did. You gonna do it again? I make a face and his eyes flicker my way with a soft smile. Relax, Yinny. It's far too early to get so worked up. Easy for you to say. You're not the one marked for death. He takes a slow sip of tea, savoring it before speaking again. Basileia is hardly one to inspire confidence. A remarkable feat, given the sheer incompetence of the Senobium. But she'll remove your love bite easily enough, regardless of what we do today. In the meantime, I fully intend to enjoy my day off. It takes me a moment to fully grasp his meaning. You never intended on hunting that monster, did you? Whatever comes back for me while you're screwing around? Didn't you hear, Basileia? My life is in your hands. The expression he wears is infuriatingly smug. Should your new friend be foolish enough to return, I'll sense it long before you will. You say that, and yet you failed to notice it stalking me in the streets yesterday. That monster, likely the same one that marked me, was right beneath your nose, but somehow you missed it. The Amaryllis is so full of monsters, it positively reeks of them. Not like that stopped you from sniffing me. Vere sets his cup down and looks me in the eye. Such a sharp tongue. I suggest you put it to better use or make your point already. Yeah, I'll put it to better use, you wanna see? If you're accusing me of something, say it plainly. I just need your help. I don't want to accuse him just yet. I'm not accusing you of anything, I just need help. But you don't seem very interested in doing anything. And here I thought the prospect of spending an entire day with me would cheer you up. Seems I'll have to resort to more drastic measures. Vere nudges a small plate of peeled mandarin slices towards me. It feels like a bribe, but I can't remember the last time I tasted fresh fruit. When I reach for a slice, his tail gives a lazy sway. The cook always insists I need more fruit for my coat. She'll scold me if I don't eat it all. The orange is tart and refreshing. Vere fills both our cups while I finish the last slice. How about we play a game? I'll allow you to ask me anything you wish. I'm feeling generous. I could even be persuaded to answer one of your overly personal questions. So long as it's not work-related or dull. Make your choice. A single question, perhaps even a demand. I'll do as you wish, no matter what. You do anything, of course. What better way to build trust? Think of it as an opportunity to get to know each other. After all, your life is in my hands, isn't it? At that, I straighten up. Now what will it be? Choose quickly before I change my mind. I want you to do something. He bows his head in mock supplication. What would you have me do? Let me pet your ears. Yeah. A soft noise escapes Vere. His lips twitch with displeasure. You can't be serious. Can you even feel anything with all those bandages? Breaking your promise already? What happened to earning my trust? Vere stiffens and grits his teeth. Fine. Make it quick and be gentle. Now faced with the prospect of touching Vere, I hesitate. He watches me, his expression unreadable as I lean over the table to stretch out my hand. His ear flicks when my fingers brush it. Even through the bandages, I can tell his fur is fine and silken, like soft brushed velvet. Though he remains stubbornly silent, I don't miss the way Vere shivers when my thumb grazes the shell of his ear. I knew I'd enjoy this, but I didn't expect the overwhelming desire to feel him without the gore separating us. He shudders with a sharp inhale, and I yank my hand back before my thoughts drift any further. Finished so soon? Well, he loved it.
He tries to sound casual, but I'm close enough to catch the touch of color in his cheeks and the subtle hitch in his breath. Did you enjoy that?
Ah, to be ridiculous, it takes a lot more than some clumsy fondling to excite me.
The slow drawn-out wag of his tail as he quickly sips tea says otherwise. Vere lifts the teapot and empties it into his cup. So if you're not gonna do your job, then what's next?
Didn't I mention I already had plans?
Let me guess, you plan a long productive day of duping broke tourists and stealing their keys. Vere lets out a short breath and smiles wide enough to show his fangs.
Oh, charming. You're screwing with me.
Yeah, and I'll also screw you if you know what I mean. I thought you liked playing games.
You have no idea. Let's go.
He drains the rest of his tea before rising. Only after I begin to follow do I realize that I might actually be looking forward to spending the day with him. Our next jaunt takes us across a few bridges and up the steep slopes that lie between Lowtown and Hightown. As I trail behind Vere with my neck craned to take in the dome buildings, I feel the prickle of a dozen eyes. While I'm no stranger to the stares of curious onlookers, for once it's my company drawing all the attention instead of my advantages. People don't even bother to hide their stares. A woman hushes her pointing child and steers them away from us. Now that I think about it, ever since we set foot in Hightown, I haven't seen a single monster. Do monsters not come here?
They're here if you know where to look.
Vere winks at me before dashing across the street, darting around an oncoming horse cart. Vere! By the time I catch up, he's standing in front of a nondescript shop. There's no sign and it's impossible to make out the interior from the stained glass window.
Wait here. I'll only be a moment.
The door clicks shut, and for the first time since this morning, I'm alone again. Panic washes over me. The streets are too quiet. The shadows too dark. I keep expecting to see them stretch long, to hear the rumble of a growl, as hot breath tingles the back of my neck. Instead, the bell chimes and the door opens. Vere emerges with a thin wax paper in his hand, and he looks at me and frowns.
Did something happen?
You look ruffled. Fine. What's that? He reaches into the bag and retrieves a golden brown cookie, stamped with a star-shaped pattern and powdered generously with fine sugar. Is this a bakery?
Not just any bakery. This shop makes the best cookies in Eridia. Ordinarily, they sell out within seconds of opening, but I pulled a few strings. This is the last one left.
He looks at me expectantly with the cookie held out. Turn him down or eat the cookie. I will eat the cookie. I take the cookie, pausing to savor the scent of caramelized sugar and roasted pistachios before taking a bite. It's soft and chewy with the faintest hint of molasses from diced dates. I should make those cookies.
Good, isn't it?
It's... Before I can finish my thought, Vere reaches out to brush powdered sugar from the corner of my mouth with his thumb.
They're messy, but I just can't get enough of them.
Is that a double meaning? His eyes never leave mine as he licks the pad of his thumb. The back of my neck grows hot. If you're trying to distract me, thanks, but this doesn't change anything.
Still unsettled, aren't you? Rest assured, should your visitor be foolish enough to return, I'll happily repay them for marking you before I could. I can be rather territorial.
I can tell. Vere pulls another cookie out of the bag and pops it into his mouth. I thought you said they only had one left.
Did I?
With that, he turns on his heel and heads down the street.
What an asshole.
After a few turns, the gleaming spire of the Senobium rises before us. This was the last place I expected to revisit, especially with Vere.
You came here yesterday, didn't you? In spite of my warning.
I nod, and to my surprise he looks satisfied.
If you're so set on whatever brought you to Eridia, perhaps I could call in a few favors and smuggle you inside.
You would do that for me, even though you warned me to stay far away?
If that's what you desire.
I don't know anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. Even if I got in, I have no idea that will actually help me cure my affliction. Vere looks curious, so I quickly pivot. Or if they just imprison me alongside you. I doubt they have answers. Honestly, I'm not sure anyone can help me, and that's assuming I can get rid of the stupid mark.
That would be far more simple if you tell me why you're so desperate for help. What spurred you to visit this godforsaken city in the first place?
It may not be looking at my hands, but I understand the implication. He asked as much last night. The Senobium was supposed to hold all the answers. I thought I'd be safe here. I know it's ridiculous, but I can't shake this feeling. Like if I could somehow get in, everything wrong with me would be fixed.
Do you think there's safety in a cage?
If it's one like yours, maybe. I know it's not easy, but you seem somewhat free to do as you please.
When I was first imprisoned, I didn't see the sky for over a dozen years. It took decades of suffering and loyal service to earn an inkling of freedom. Some might prefer to be kept and collared like exotic pets in beautiful cages. But even birds with clipped wings yearn to fly. When I first saw the Senobium spire piercing the sunlit clouds, I held a glimmer of hope that somewhere within it lay the key to my curse. Now the gold rock gates only remind me of the bars of Vere's cell. If the Senobium can't save me, who can? Vere glances over his shoulder at me. Need a moment? When I blink, his eyes narrow with amusement. You got that look? The one you get when you're lost in thought. I have a look? Several, in fact, but I like that one the most. Vere crooks his finger, beckoning me to follow him as he descends the stairs. I know better than to bother asking what he's got planned next. Ooh, I love these statues. They're so pretty. The sun mirrors our descent, slipping below a pale of mist that covers the riverbank. Unlike Hightown, the bridges teem with activity. Gawking children, peddlers selling garlands, and people kneeling before wooden shrines. I didn't know there were this many faithful in Eridia. I keep my voice low. It feels wrong somehow to speak loudly here, not with worshippers lighting votives at altars and offering prayers before stone effigies. With so many deities on display, there's always something to be celebrated or mourned. He sweeps an arm, gesturing at the stunning array of statues arranged along the bridge. It's impossible to spot more than a few of them among the worshippers and the thick red-tinged smoke billowing from their censers. A procession approaches so large that the crowds part to make room for it. I'm buffeted by congregants rushing to move out of the way until Vere's hand closes around mine. Here, he pulls me into a pedestal, a narrow strip of stone circling the crumbling statue of a saint. It's a tight fit. Even with his arm circling my waist, my heels hang over the edge of the bridge. But falling's the last thing on my mind when Vere so close that my nose brushes his jaw and my lungs fill with the leathery scent of his collar. Turn around. Vere guides me with one hand on my hip, turning me so I can take in the sight. A sea of robed bodies stretches as far as I can see, the air trembling with their rhythmic chanting. As they pass, Vere murmurs close to my ear. Fascinating, isn't it? I prefer it. It feels nostalgic. The vestments are different, and the rites aren't the same. But no matter where I go, the world is full of people desperate for answers. His laugh is a pleasant rumble against my back. I thought you might enjoy the spectacle of Saints Crossing. Faith has long been pushed to the outskirts here. A persistent itch the Senobium has never been able to scratch. They come here in droves in search of the answers and protection the Senobium denies them. His words stir memories of the traveler from the caravan, how he ranted about his goddess as his hands closed tightly around my throat. Religion won't save anyone from fogfall or soulless. Neither will the Senobium. For all their magic, old tomes, and ill-gotten knowledge, the Senobium is held back by the mortality of its ministry. They seem to be doing well enough. Eridia is still standing. For now, but they can't hide behind their gates forever. As the last stragglers move past, Vere eases me back onto the bridge. He hops down beside me. We pass several statues, some smooth with time and touch, others choked in moss and long abandoned. Near the end of the bridge, a group of urchins scramble by, shouting and laughing, their arms overflowing with pears and apples. They left an upturned bowl behind, beside the plinth of a statue draped in so many fresh garlands that it takes me a moment to recognize it. This one's popular. Cousin of yours? Vere follows my gaze to the stone effigy of a wolf sitting before us and makes a dissatisfied noise. You can't possibly think I resemble that boring old wolf. No one ever paid it any attention until recently. It's just another ancient monster memorialized by humans as a god. I can understand worshipping the sun or seasons or elements, but monsters, that's a first. Is that really so surprising? Humans have always sought protection from higher powers, real or imagined. I look from Vere to the stone-carved wolf with its smooth, serene expression. This wasn't an old friend of yours, was it? His tail flicks angrily. Please, I'm not that anxious. Say your prayers if you wish, we're leaving. He sets off and I follow, only after placing the offering bowl upright. Night blankets Lowtown and darkens my own mood. As lamps flicker to life above the streets, Basilia's words return to me. The monster might have hidden during the day, but what now? Even with Vere by my side, I feel ill at ease, walking through darkened streets and stick to the pools of light collected beneath windows. Late. Basilia was expecting us at dusk. Time does have a way of escaping me when I'm enjoying myself. My heart squeezes in my chest. Today was fun. I wish we could, before I can say more, something catches my eye. Uh-oh. A sinuous dark shape silently leaps from a rooftop and slips into the alley in the space of a breath. Did you see that? I look back and my stomach clenches like a fist. Vere crouches over a path of paw prints emerging from a puddle of thick black blood. It would seem we've interrupted someone's dinner. We should follow it. That could be the monster that attacked me. Should we follow it? Vere starts to smile then shakes his head. I'll find it after I've escorted you back to the outpost. But I told Basilia I'd return you in one piece. Come along. We're in so much trouble. Vere takes off at a sprint and I race after him through the twisting dark alley. I strain my eyes searching for the outpost. A sound rises above my thundering heartbeat, labored breathing and the sharp click of claws growing closer with every step. Curiosity gets the better of me. I glance back in just in time to catch a glimpse of glittering eyes receding into the dark.
Vere, it's behind us! But when I turn back, Vere is gone. I skid to a stop. Did I fall behind? But I only looked for a second. I can't see a thing, but I'm certain something is watching me. Vere? Vere! I am so screwed. A puff of hot breath, sour with a tang of fresh blood, heats the back of my neck. I turn very slowly to find a soulless crouched behind me. Thick rivulets of drool drip from its bare teeth. No one is going to save me this time. There's only one way I'm getting out of this alive. Touch the soulless. Slowly, so as not to startle the beast, I unwind the bandages from one hand. First my fingertips and my knuckles, and finally my palms are free. The soulless's gilded eyes wobble as it tenses. Come here, you ugly bastard! My voice shakes worse than my hands, but it takes the bait and lurches forward. A sick thrill of excitement rushes through me. Time seems to hang in suspension as the soulless barrels towards me. I meet it halfway with my hand thrust out. I twist at the last moment, so my fingers graze its rubbery hide and the creature falls limp. It lies sprawled on the ground, pacified by my curse, but not for long. I clench my fingers until my hands stop shaking, and take one slow breath. I'm safe, but I need to move before... Impressive. A disembodied voice echoes throughout the alley. Oh no. I was wondering what kind of trick you were hiding up your sleeve. Where moments ago there was nothing, Vere appears veiled by the shadows. No. Not veiled by shadows, but emerging from them. I can't believe you hid and made me panic on purpose. Darkness peels off his skin and hair in wisps, as he leans over the twitching soulless to prod it with the toe of his boot. Poor thing. You really did a number on it. Where the hell were you? My ears fill with a low roar as dread coils in my gut. I fumble for my bandages, but it's too late. I'm caught. What did you see? Mia's eyes flick from the soulless to me, thinning with amusement. Enough. Now do me. In the sexy way, right? What? The soulless stirs and I turn, ready to run, but Vere's already behind me. I'm far stronger than that pitiful little whelp. The darkness closes in until I can't see where the alley begins or ends. What's the worst that could happen? I turn again and again, but no matter where I look, Vere follows like a shadow. No! Why not? I could hurt you. I could kill you. A bluff. I never used my curse on a monster. I don't even know what would happen. Vere takes a step closer. You're lying. You bared your throat to me this morning. If you thought you could hurt me, why didn't you fight back? Realization dawns with a flash of searing pain from the mark on my neck. I knew it! The monster I was running from all this time was right beside me all along. He lied to me. Lied me with treats and promises and sweet words. And for what? Was all this a sick game? Or is it simply how he hunts? The closer Vere draws, the hotter his mark burns. Stinging tears spring to the corners of my eyes. It was you this whole time. But you were supposed to be locked up. Vere smiles and the soulless shudders back to life. It scrambles to its feet and hurtles towards me. I throw up my hand, but Vere is faster. He flicks the beast aside, a careless gesture that dashes it against the wall behind me with a sickening crunch. My heart stutters as I look down to see my outstretched palm resting on the smooth expanse of Vere's chest. Silence stretches between us before Vere looks up from my hands and sighs. That's all. The change follows immediately. Oh, I am so screwed. One moment, my hand is touching hot skin. The next it's buried to the elbow in a thick coat of plush fur. I am so screwed. A strangled noise escapes me. I recoil only to lose my footing entirely as the monster rises again. Vere towers over me, massive yet ephemeral as smoke. Shadows peel off his fur and pool like ink below him. His luminous eyes fix on me and he growls, a noise so low and deep it rattles my bones. Then he lunges. I watch his jaws clamp shut around the soulless and my blood runs cold. Vere snaps at the creature's neck with a violent shake of his hand and drops its limp body at my feet. I should run or fight or scream, but fear locks my knees and chokes my voice as Vere lowers his head, blood dripping from his stained muzzle as he regards me with great glowing eyes. Ante, stop! A voice cuts through the dark. Vere freezes immediately, as though turned to stone. Only his eyes move, darting from me to Basileia as she breathlessly rushes to my side. Saints preserve me, are you alright? I'm fine, he didn't hurt me. I shove my hands into my cloak. Thankfully, her focus is entirely on Vere. She draws her shoulders back and hisses. Down! He snarls but obediently lowers to a stiff crouch, humbled by a single word. Basileia helps me to my feet. My lips move but nothing comes out. My mind drowns in a flood of emotions and impulses. I'm saved, but from what exactly? I was waiting for you both by the outpost. I heard the uproar from a block away and... He didn't attack you, did he? Vere whines, a long high-pitched note that I feel as much as I hear. No, it was a soulless. It cornered me in the night. I catch myself. The last thing I want is to divulge my curse to a cleric. Vere transformed and killed the soulless. He changed. All on his own. But that shouldn't be possible. This can't be. The collar must have malfunctioned somehow. Frowning at the mangled corpse, Basileia skirts around the puddle of blood leaking from the soulless. When she claps, Vere flinches. Onite, change and explain yourself. The giant fox vanishes in a blink. In its place, Vere kneels before Basileia with his forehead pressed to the ground. Coppery hair spills over his shoulders onto the cobblestones. I wasn't going to hurt her. His voice trembles. You should go, Yinny. I'm afraid I won't be able to help you with your mark tonight. The Moseka manages nod. The shock slowly fades, leaving numbness in its wake, and I stiffly turn around. I'm sorry.
Aww. Okay, that doesn't make it all okay. But the apology is nice.
When I look back, Vere lifts his chin slightly. Though his face is still veiled by his hair, I can feel his eyes on me. I only meant to protect you. I know. It's barely a murmur, but Vere nods, as though satisfied. Reluctantly, I tear my eyes away from him and will my legs to move one step at a time. I look onto the mouth of the alley, so as not to look back again. I don't really remember how I got back to my room or when I collapsed on the bed. Too tired to even crawl beneath the sheets.
Oh, I hope that doesn't get him put under more restrictions by the Senobium. I would feel bad.
The whole night blurs into a half-forgotten nightmare. Sharp fangs, glowing eyes, and whispers that my mind dissects fruitlessly for meaning. I close my eyes, willing sleep to take me. But even as my breathing slows and my limbs grow heavy, the mark on my neck aches. I should feel comforted knowing I found the monster that marked me. Instead, I'm stuck wondering if he wanted to kill me or keep me safe. I can't believe Vere has given us an Omegaverse bonding mark.
But that is my full playthrough of Touchstarved's Chapter 1 preview. I hope you guys like that. I'm so happy to finally be able to play through Mhin and Kuras and Vere's routes as well, because I was very excited to play them the other night. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit it all in one video because that would have been way too long. I'm very happy that we got to see Kuras' angel form, Mhin's monster form, and also Vere's as well. Seeing them all revealed makes me really happy, including Ace as well. I know with Leander, we didn't see his monster form, but the whole thing, at least to me, is that Leander himself is the monster because he is a liar and a charlatan, and I'm really excited to see how he is going to absolutely shatter our hearts. But I do feel really bad for Vere. Honestly, like, despite the facade of freedom, I think it is quite a awful way for him to live. Mhin, I do like the desperation, how their personality, although quite prickly on the outside, they are honestly quite sweet towards us and quite kind. Yeah, I'm interested to getting to know them more as well. And with Kuras' route, it is wild that despite him being a divine being of some sort, he still can't seem to remove our curse, which not only raises questions as to where the origin of the curse exactly comes from, because I really want to know more about that, but also how, in comparison to other Celestials, I wonder how powerful Kuras is himself. Anyways, I'm very excited for the continuation of their stories. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me while I explored the Chapter 1 preview. Do remember that this is a work in progress, so the final game, some details might be subject to change, so do take note of that. But thank you so much for supporting me, and if you guys want to check out the Chapter 1 preview yourself, all you have to do is just head over to Red Spring Studios' website and check under their blog post or their Twitter for how to gain access to this. And if you would like to support me, my Patreon is linked in the description box below. Supporting me is not mandatory, but it does help me to keep creating content for you guys, so it is very appreciated. Anyway, thank you so much again. Until next time, take care.